You're listening to Paul and his amazing friends only on Paul and the 619.
Hey, how's it going? You're watching Paul and the 619. This is Conversations with the Community. So, I started a one on one interview series. Sometimes I have guests on my live stream on Tuesday nights, and it gets pretty chaotic. You have 6 to 8 people, you know, um, on the panel, and then you have a guest and you try to ask him questions, and then you got like 3 people talking at the same time. Sometimes it's pretty chaotic. So I decided to do one-on-one interviews with some of the coolest people in the community. My guest today is going to be Matt Morgan from Heroes for Hire Comic Club. He's one of my bros. He is also an amazing friend, and I'm honored that he's part of my live stream. So yeah, let's bring him on.
Oh, sorry.
Matt, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Okay, so first off, I want to say thank you for being on my one-on-one interview series. You also do one-on-one interviews, and you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. It was so it's kind of odd being interviewed since I'm usually the interviewer, but the interviewee. But I like it. It's kind of cool. You told me you're going to do it, and I'm like, yeah, sounds like fun. I'll do it. So
yeah, well, definitely when I started it, you were definitely on the short list. The thing is that I asked you before I started doing these one-on-ones because you're already doing them. I didn't want to be like, hey, why is Paul the 609 doing interviews when I do that? So I definitely wanted to ask you, and I know, dude, you didn't care, and I really appreciate it, homie.
well, it's not like I cornered the market on interviewing people. I mean, it ain't like I stole the idea from 60 Minutes and Barbara Walters. So.
Dude, that's like a name from the past. You talk like that in front of like the younger crowd, they'll be like, "Who the hell are you talking about?"
Okay, I'll say. Let me change it. We'll say Anderson Cooper.
Oh, there you go, Anderson Cooper. Thank you. All right, so when did you start doing YouTube?
It was in August of last year.
Yeah, because you've only done it in a short time, and you've blown up, Matt. Dude, Matt, you are doing so good on YouTube.
I feel good about it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good. The thing with me is that I started about 2 years ago, and the thing is, this is not my comfort zone. It's definitely a challenge to put myself out there. I'm not the best public speaker, but we talk about the stuff that we love: comic books, toys, superheroes. Man, we love that stuff. So that's the reason why I do it. That and meeting new people. I mean, Matt, when I met you, dude, it was like, oh, dude, I love this guy. This guy's awesome. So
Thank you.
As far as okay, this is off subject, dude. You got like one of the dopest beard in the community. Is there anything special you do with your beard?
No, I just let it go. I'm like Grizzly Adams, yo. Well, the kids are not going to understand that one either. But I just like the beard. You know, I got the, you guys, we got to kind of hide the, I've had one for so long now. I used to be just a goatee, but I finally ended up like this. I need to trim it a little bit right now. It's kind of rough, but
Well, it's a great look. You know, the thing with me is that I can't grow that. I could grow the hell of a mustache, but as far as a beard like yours, I'm jealous. I can't grow one of those.
and I do need to trim it a little bit. But like at this point, if I shaved it all off, I would look weird. So I just
Well, yeah, because people are used to seeing you with a beard. Because have you seen those videos of like fathers who have beards with their little ones, and all of a sudden they shave it off, and then they try to see their kids? Man, they put their dude, they like scar their kids, and like for later on, so they need to have like therapy. It's like so jarring to these kids. So yeah, the look would be different. You
and
probably look younger though. You probably look younger.
I
That's why
probably
my
would.
wife doesn't
I
want
look
me
wise.
to
I
grow
kind of
it.
look wise. Like I can go like this. But I'm glad you said it. My mom hates it. My mom hates it, but
Yeah.
I love it. I got a problem here though. Like for some reason, this part right here is not wanting to grow in for now. It went away one day. Like I think it's for my CPAP mask I wear at night. I think it's,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. I like it. It's my trademark at this point, so I can't let
Love
it
it,
go.
man. No, dude, I'm jealous. I can't
You
grow it.
ever watch Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning on YouTube?
That's what?
Rhett and Link, they call it Good Mythical Morning.
I don't know what that is.
They're one of the most popular, but he's got a beard. And
Okay.
like if you look at pictures of him when he was like 18, he looks weird without it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
So used to seeing it. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So as far as some questions I have lined up, as far as YouTube content, what's your favorite YouTube content that you make on your channel?
Oh well, I love doing the. Right now, I guess I'd have to say bad cinema. We do a movie review. We like B movies. They're not doesn't mean they're bad. They're like tomorrow we're doing Enter the Ninja 3: The Domination.
Yeah.
And I know I got some lovely co-hosts, but I like everything I do. Really, honestly, the conversations thing was just I was like, you know what? It would be interesting to talk to people, maybe that not even people I know. Like the first guest, I was like, you know what? He's got 15,000 subs. I'm going to ask him anyway. It was Lunch Money Comics, and he agreed to it.
Oh yeah.
Super nice guy. And you've seen the show. I've had Chris Tropes, Comic Tropes on there.
Yeah.
And Bueller was on there. Travis, Comics with Bueller, but I don't go like let's just get these big guys so I can get a view or people that got more subs. I want anybody, and like I'm asking you, who you got more than me, but like I've asked people that have less than I do. Because I want to know why you want to do this, why you get into collecting, because that's why I did this YouTube thing. And I don't have a trouble with public speaking, because I was always in school plays and stuff. And the key is you're in public and you're speaking, or you're in a play or something. Don't look, maybe make eye contact with one or two people, but don't try to look at all the people. Just look over top of them when you're talking.
Well, you know the thing with me, I've tried that before. You know, like when you go to the look at the crowd and you focus on that one person and you're just staring at that person and you forget what you need to say. And for me, even with my live stream, the thing with me is that I always have notes. You know, I have notes on a phone. Like right now, I have questions on my phone and I have questions on Notepad, and I also have a pen. So if something pops in my head, I can write it down so I don't forget. You know, so I've always been a better writer than speaker. You know, so if I go to like when my son got married a few weeks ago, I had a handwritten. My speech was handwritten, so I wouldn't forget anything. So yeah, and that turns out good. So I don't know where we're going from there. I just went off course, but
it's all good. I do it all the time on my show. It's all right.
So,
but like also it was like I started out doing sales and whatnot. I don't work on whatnot anymore, but
Yeah.
and kind of quit selling, but it was kind of a bust, but it gave me the confidence to actually show my face on here. And like, I wanted to talk to people who were into the same things I were, because there's not a lot of people around here, and I don't get out much because I'm disabled.
Yeah.
This was to give me a good outlet to talk to about the stuff I love, which is comics.
Yeah, most definitely.
Movies. Yeah.
Well, the thing is cool, and like you said, the thing with social media, it's brought me into contact with people with like-minded interests, like, for example, the comic books. So, like knowing you, knowing Vogs 18, Random Reads, Kevin. I mean, you guys are like on the East Coast. If it wasn't for YouTube, I would have never met you guys. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then, dude, Heroes Con, baby. We're going to Heroes Con. So the cool thing is that I'm going to do the pilgrimage over there, and I'm going to be able to actually meet you guys in person. And I'm very excited to see you guys next month. It's going to be amazing, Matt.
I don't even know if we'll have enough time to see everybody. There's so many people I want to see. We'll just have to congregate together. We'll be all right. We'll get Clip.
Yeah.
We'll find Clip and Will and all of them. And well, unfortunately, I don't know if Kevin's going.
Yeah, no, it should be an amazing time. I'm going to be there with my wife. Dude, it's a vacation, man. We're going to party it up. It's going to be a good time. So, so as far as comic books, do you have any comic book goals for this year?
Yes, I have a quite lofty one. I'm trying to finish G.I. Joe 1 through 155 with the original run at Larry Hama.
Yeah.
And I got like 88 issues right now. I still need number 1. My friend Platter of Santa, or Glenn, his name's Glenn. He's in Canada. He already has a copy he's holding of issue 21, the silent issue. And I'm going to try to get at Heroes and try to get number 1 and maybe the last 2, because they're kind of hard to find.
Yeah. That's the funny thing about comic book series. When it ends, it's usually because of low sales, so they're short printed, and those late issues are pretty tough. Like with when I was trying to do collect Conan, those later issues of Conan were hard to find, and not just hard to find in a good condition,
decent condition. But right now, I don't care about condition as long as I have a copy. I don't care if it's the rattiest 155 I can find. I'm kind of more on condition of 1. I want 1 to be at least mid-grade, though. But I have so many goals. Like, I know I can't. There's 2 I can't finish this year. I know that can't. But I can see like the finish line for G.I. Joe at this point. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to get. I'm very ambitious. I'm trying to get all of the remember when they brought Captain America back in the Silver Age? I'm trying to get like when they started back at 100. I'm trying to get all the way to the first one in the Silver Age to the end of volume 1, or what do they call it? I guess it's volume 2. I don't know if it's volume. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think they even kept the same volume number. And then I'm trying to get. Eventually, I might try to get all the Tales of Suspense, but that's like a big rabbit hole. And but I'm trying to just focus on the Captain America and Uncanny X-Men up to like giant size, all the way up to like issue 300 from giant size 1 when Claremont started.
Yeah.
And it's going to be. I know that's going to be an expensive one. That's going to take probably several years to do that one.
Yeah, but you know what though?
X-Men 1 or none of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be
You'll
hard
get it,
enough
Matt.
for giant size X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Awesome. So, okay, as far as comic book characters, your favorite comic book character is?
Well, it's kind of a tie. It's Wolverine and Captain America.
Okay. Well, those are 2 comic book characters that I like.
Captain America is good for the sake of, like, no matter what, even if it hurts him, he will do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think people should be more like him in their life. He's a stand-up dude. He's always there for his friends. You know, even when Bucky was the Winter Soldier, he still saw good in him, like Luke. You know,
he saw the good in him,
and he saved him. You know, saved him from being the Winter Soldier. So, because I'm the kind of person, if I'm your friend, I'm a loyal friend. If somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, talking about you behind their back," I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you! Don't talk about Paul like that."
Nice. That's what's up.
I don't really like. and Fast and Furious. I'm like, if you're not fans of fans,
Yeah.
and I don't know why we couldn't do it, because I don't know. I don't like. I know some people are like, I don't talk to this person because of politics or look. That's a bad reason not to like. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I don't know what yours is. We're not going to talk about politics, but I'm saying that's one thing you should leave at the front door if you're going to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, we're on a forum where we talk about collectibles. I know everyone has their different views and different tastes. But, the thing is that what's so cool is that we all could come together and have common ground and have a good time, man. It doesn't have to be like that, But
Right.
I want to ask,
Right.
go ahead, please finish what you're going to say.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Nice. Okay. So what are some of your earliest comic book memories?
Well, my dad was a Vietnam veteran. He was in the Marine Corps. And then when he was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps, he came back home. He joined the National Guard. He was in the National Guard for 20 years.
Wow. Thank you for your dad's service. That's amazing.
Thank you. He's yeah. And, he volunteered. He wasn't drafted. He volunteered. And I said, Dad, why did you, and see, he had an older brother that was in Vietnam already. And so he didn't have to go. The older brother was already, he didn't have to get drafted. He volunteered. It's like, no, I felt like, why should I stay at home when everybody else has to go? So he went. And, you know what? That's admirable. I mean, especially for a war that was, very unpopular. But anyway, back to the comics. Let's not talk about. We're not here to talk about Vietnam. If you're the National Guard, I don't know if you're familiar. You probably know. Every year they go for training for like 2 weeks somewhere else. They'll go to like.
I was in the Army, so I met a bunch of those dudes. Yeah,
you've been to Germany, Scotland, California, Fort Bragg, Fort Benning, all these places. Wow. Texas, where they travel every year. Mm-hmm. And being in the military and the PXs, I don't know if it's still this way, but back then they sold comic books in the PXs. And so he would go in there and he would buy a bunch of comics and bring them home to me because he loved funny books. So he would bring them back, and he would bring stuff like the Fighting Marines, Charlton, stuff like that. Hot stuff. You remember the little devil or whatever they call him, the little devil, Casper, Richie Rich, G.I. Joe comics. This is the first time he brought me some G.I. Joe, Star Trek, Star Wars comics, stuff he knew I'd be interested in. And Barbarian. And I would, even if I didn't even know how to read that well at that point, but I would look at the pictures, and then I just kept getting them in it. And actually, the one that really stuck home to me is because I collected the action figures was G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Because I love the action figures and the cartoon, so I started reading that like every time it came out, or every time I wasn't like how we are now. The Wednesday Warriors go like back then it was a little different. You went to the drugstore, the 7-Eleven, you had to pick what was on the spinner rack, and if I saw one, my mom to get it, if money to get it. Yeah. And then also I'd get like the X-Men because it was a team. That I like the X-Men and the Avengers and the Justice League because we didn't really have a lot of money growing up when I was little. So you get all the characters mashed into one book, more bang for your buck. So,
Dude, that's a great memory. So, what comic book, cartoon, movie, or character in literature do you relate to the most?
What comic character or in movie character I relate to most?
Yeah, that you relate to. And if you need an example, I could give you an example.
All right, give me an example.
Okay, so for me, it's Bilbo Baggins. The thing with Bilbo Baggins, he's a hesitant hero. He didn't want to go on an adventure. He actually had to be dragged to go. But once he was on it, he was all about it. The thing with me, I'm lazy. Okay, I'm lazy when it comes to things. So for me to get started, it's pretty difficult. My wife usually has to kick me in the ass to get started. But once I get started, man, I'm all about it. So I picked Bilbo Baggins because I'm more like that.
That's a tough question. What do you think?
We can come back to it if you want.
No. I'll just answer it this way. I guess I kind of like the characters in movies that were kind of like they're good. They're good guys, but like they're kind of, I don't know, like Han Solo. I'll just say Han Solo because look, he's kind of a little scalawag a little bit, but
Yeah.
good dude. Like when the shit hits
Yeah.
the fan,
Yeah.
you know, you bring up,
He
but
does the
he's
right
like,
thing.
he's kind of got like a little mischief to him. Like, you know, he's a little cocky, but like, you know, the classic scene. And since it's May the 4th, you know, like when he's talking to Leia, he's like, I love you. He's like, I know.
I know.
But I guess I was Harrison Ford because I was going to say Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's such a badass character. He's just so cool. He's like
Oh man.
in the face.
Yeah.
And like I hate snakes. He hates snakes. Like that kind of guy. Or like those are my favorite kind of characters, like Jack Burton, Kurt Russell's character, and
Yeah.
Big Trouble in China. Those are my kind of, or Ash and Evil Dead. They're, I don't know. That's my answer. Han Solo.
No, I like it. Those are great characters. I love that. Great answer. So okay. Who or what inspired you to do comic book content on social media? I mean, it's like, you know, I know you just didn't wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. Right?
Oh, no, it was kind of gradual. Like, okay. To tell that story, I have to go back like 25 years. And
okay.
I had a bunch of comic books. I had almost the whole G.I. Joe run. I had pretty much Spawn 1 through like 100 and something.
Wow.
All the way through because I love Todd McFarlane. I had all his ASM run. I had all the Eric Larson that came after him. Stuff like that. Uncanny X-Men. I had a lot of that. Some of them were very valuable. And I had old video game systems in my apartment. I was on vacation. My apartment got broken into and they stole all of it. And it's probably a bunch of drug addicts. They probably got enough to get a couple of Oxycontin or whatever they were doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And,
oh man, that's
I was
terrible.
like, I quit. I'm not going to collect anything for a while. So I quit collecting.
Yeah.
And, so then, like during COVID, like I guess COVID had been around for a while. I guess you're going to hear the story a lot with some people our age. And my uncle Ray, he passed away several years before, and he was a colorist for a comic book company. He was an artist too.
Oh,
It
wow.
was it might have been Gladstone, or I can't remember what it was exactly. It wasn't like Disney. I mean, it wasn't Marvel or DC or anything. But so it was like a smaller place. It was like in Dayton, Ohio. Anyway, he died, and my stepdad, he got all his stuff because he didn't really have any family, and the family he did have around, they were looking for stuff they thought was bad, but they didn't think these books were worth anything. And he had like the entire collected works and hardcover box sets of in the slipcases of EC Comics, like every EC
Oh, wow.
comic. He had like this big book signed by Bill Gaines. If you know who Bill Gaines, he was the publisher, the editor in chief of EC, and all these people are dead.
Yeah.
And Wally Wood's autograph in it. And my mom was like, "Well, I need some extra money. Can you sell this?" I don't know. I don't know what he had. She brought it all up, and there's all this Dave Stevens stuff and Frazetta stuff and Vampirella magazines and
Wow.
things. So I started selling it. I started looking up the prices, and it kind of got me back into it. I was like, I think I'm going to start buying comics. So I made a lot of money for her off that, and she gave some of the money to me. So first thing I did was I bought a lot of retro games because I love like NES, and I got a Sega Genesis. And then I said, well, I'm going to start getting some comics. And I got a couple of graded comics because I thought they looked cool. I said, well, they look cool on the shelf. And I got like Batman 404 signed by Frank Miller in a slab.
Dope.
And I just it was dabbling. And then I was like, getting more and more. I started watching, you know what, YouTube is great for like, I want to learn something more about something or what's going on in comics. Like I didn't completely give it up. I was still reading trade paperbacks and like the digital copies of comics. But then when I started watching the content, first people I started watching was like Comic Tom, Comic Tropes.
Oh, yeah.
Then I discovered like Lunch Money Comics and I can't remember the name of the show, Pop Culture's Philosopher, all those guys. And
those are some big channels.
And the biggest one for me was Cartoonist Kayfabe.
Okay.
Because they would go over a comic, you know, they would go over the comics and they would talk about, you had these artists telling you, well, see what he did here or why he did this. And this is splash page. This is a good splash page. And this is why. Well, the writing might not be great, but the art's great, you know, or like he'd give you stories and they'd interview artists would come on. Todd McFarlane was on there. Rob Liefeld. And I love Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
And probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite artist. And
Yeah.
then I said, I was getting into that, and I sold, and I started selling on Whatnot. And I was like, I met Cheap Comic Collector. I don't know if you know him or not, but he does claim sales. And I was watching my friend Aaron, he's my friend now, but they're on a show. I was just going through and saw live streams. And I usually never commented on anything. I'd watch it for a minute and I'd turn it. I like pre-recorded videos at that time. But I started watching them and I saw his name come up there. It said Cheap Comic Collector. And I said, I think I sold that guy some comics on Whatnot. So I typed in the chat.
That's awesome.
Looks like last week. I was my name was like Ghost of Tom Joe 76, a big racing machine fan. But anyway, that was my username. It's still that on the Whatnot, even though I don't really sell on there. I buy on there though.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. He goes, yeah. I bought some. Yeah. He said, I got them right here. We'll show them. He started showing them on the TV. Dude, I watch
so cool.
TV, right? I watch all the videos on the TV usually.
Yeah.
On my laptop while I watched it. And I was like, hey, Mom. I still stay with my mom after my stepdad passed. I moved back in with her. I'm disabled, so it's kind of hard to live on home. But anyway, I thought I was a celebrity. They're showing my books I sold on Whatnot on TV. Eventually, they invited me on. That was my first panel. And then I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to start doing it. I was like, I kept making excuses because I kind of want to do a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I kept making well, I don't know anything about editing. I don't know nothing about this. I don't know, this and that. And but I just jumped right into it and started showing comic books.
Yeah.
And just doing like unboxings. And eventually it led to my own, like doing live streams. And then I came up with my Sunday show where I do new comic. I kind of just saw what other people were doing and said, well, I could do that. So I started.
And you do it well, Matt. You do it well, bro.
And I don't use a script. I'm just like winging it out there. Like, as you can tell, it's not hard for me to talk. I have kind of the gift of gab, is what my mom says.
Yeah, no, that's good, man.
So I kind of just wing it. I don't have no script, but like, I mean, I planned the show out. I have segments, and then I just kept adding stuff to it, and now it's became what it is. We do this thing called out of context panels.
Yeah.
And also it's just like, kind of like, I had to have a ramp built. I can walk, but I can't walk that well. I have muscular dystrophy. That's my disability.
Yeah.
It's gotten worse the older I've got. The last 10 years, it's got steadily worse. And it's hard for me to get up steps and down steps without falling. And not to make anybody, I'm not trying to make anybody feel sorry for me, but if I fall,
no.
I have to call the paramedics to come pick me up because I can't get up off the ground under my own power. So it's bad. And like, they'll come and go, is there something wrong with you? You go, and I don't need to go to the hospital. I just need somebody to get me on my feet again. Yeah. But anyway, so I had to wait 2 years to get a ramp built. I was stuck in the house.
Wow.
For 2 years. And I was nobody to reach out to really. And you find out how people really are when you're disabled because you can't, nobody comes to see you. Well, I mean, I'm not dissing on them because people have families, jobs, and lives, and they move away. But, when you can't get out and visit people, people don't come to see you no more. They forget about you. I actually had a couple people thought I was dead.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was just like, and I went through a lot of depression. So this was my way to get out there. And I made some new friends. I was worried. I thought it was going to be all, because I even though I didn't do any content, I saw what was going on. I saw the drama. You see these people, they'd be friends one week, next week they'd hate each other's guts. And they'd be arguing on the streams. I didn't want to be like that. I was afraid that it would be like that because I hate trolls. I can't stand that shit.
Unfortunately, especially in your channel is gonna blow up sooner or later. It's gonna reach new heights. And fortunately, people that you meet, what they say they are is not exactly how they operate. So that's part of that, and that's in anything. That's part of life. You know what I mean?
For the most part, I've really been welcomed with open arms, and all these like Legion of Comics, and the Comic Army, Chris, the comic vet. Rob's Fast. I've been in. I've made some really. I don't really consider them like I used to say they were internet or YouTube friends, but I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
I was like every week on Saturday, like my friend, he's from Australia, Mad Spidey. Shout out to Mad Spidey. He does the Outback show Sunday or Saturday nights. It's Sunday morning where he's at. But it's like, and then like every week I make it a point to try to be on that show if I'm at home.
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm just catching up with a friend of mine. Like, hey, how was your week? How was your week, Spidey? And it's just, and then we have a lot in common. Like you find that on here. We were talking about that earlier. Like, okay, this guy's cool. I can deal. I can fuck with this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. See, and that's the thing, and I feel that the exact same thing. And you answered a question. You answered a question that I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, how has being on social media helped you in everyday life? And you killed that. You already answered it.
I'll be honest with you, and this is where we're going to get to the Barbara Walters or Anderson Cooper. I'm not going to cry or anything.
Oh, am I going to get an award? We're going to get some awards.
I'm going to go into a lot of detail about it, but I will just say this: I was struggling with that depression, but like 4 or 5 years ago, I was on drugs.
Yeah,
and I had to go to. I've been to like 4 or 5 detoxes. The doctors write me pain medicine because I have muscular dystrophy. So I thought, oh, I'm supposed to get it, right? But I got hooked on it. And then other stuff came in because then they cracked down on the opioids because of the opioid crisis. And I didn't, I mean, it wasn't good for anyway. And it does bad stuff to your body. And I was in a bad place. So I was in a place for like a year up in northern Kentucky. And I came back. And then my stepdad died not far long after that. He was almost like my dad, though. I mean, I love him to death. I miss him every day.
Yeah.
And I was in a dark place, and like I was still in a dark place and wasn't doing it because I was stuck in the house, and I was thinking about doing it again, And the comic books and the YouTube comic book community, I mean, it may sound melodramatic, but this saved my life, man. I was isolating. It's not healthy. I was almost feral. Like the only interaction I had was my mom or maybe my aunt or one of my cousins would drop by every now and then, like on special occasions. But I remember when I finally got out of that shell and went out in public again, when I got that ramp, I didn't know how to act in front of people. I just kept my head down, and that's not like, how I am. I like to talk. I have fun. I didn't want to even look anybody in the eye. It was just weird. And, you went
to Free Comic Book Day. I saw your IG, and you saw some of the dudes in the community.
Yeah, I saw Collecting with Durs was there.
Yeah, Durs, yep.
And I've met Bub's World before. I actually sold me some comics, and I bought a bunch of was it 10 boxes of comics? I bought them for like $250 or something. He really cut me.
Wow.
And wow. But like, and you see like these people, like you have a lot of generous people that give stuff away. I've had people send me stuff for free.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you need this, and like, like last week, not to put her on the spot, but Lady Fantastic was like, hey, give me your address. I'm going to send you something. Just out of the blue. I'm like, okay. And then I'll do that too. I've been getting into that. I'm doing that big giveaway when I'm at 385, trying to get 400 subscribers. And like if you reached out to me and said, hey, man, if you got this, where I got this Spawn issue? And oh, well, I have it. I'll send it to you, Paul. Or whatever you're expecting, I'll try that. I'll do that if I can,
So Matt, isn't it true when it feels better to give than receive? I love. Yeah, you know why though? Because so your roots sound kind of familiar with mine. I started doing YouTube selling comics, and you know what I found out, Matt? I don't like selling comics. I hate it. I hate the feeling. The thing is that it's one of those feelings where I either feel like, man, I shouldn't have sold that comic, or it was the more like I felt like I was ripping somebody off. You know what I mean? And I didn't like that feeling. So I rather give a comic to one of the homies than sell. I hate selling comics. So yeah, I'm there with you.
I do it just to support my habit when I do sell them, but usually it's only stuff I don't need or
you got Mark Spears. You got that Mark Spears.
Yeah,
ooh, that was a find.
I had 2 copies of that one. I put it on eBay, and it sold in 30 minutes. That's how hot.
Dude, Mark Spears his art right now is so hot. Yeah, dude, it's so like, there you go, man. And you met him, and he signed that comic.
Yeah, not only did he sign it, Paul, he gave this one to me and signed it for free.
Let's go. See,
such a nice guy. It was so refreshing to see somebody that's not cocky about it or like next. He knows Kingdom of Nerds, my friend Brucifer, and Bruce put a word in for me. So, but he saw that I was like, what happened was I was going to buy this exclusive too, and I was going to buy this one. This one was 60. This one was 50.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then his wife who's awesome too. She's like the one doing the selling. And I was like, I can't afford that one. She gave me the total. I said, I'm sorry. And I said, but get this G.I. Joe signed. I won't get I had two others. I said, I won't get them signed. He said, you know what? You can have this one. And he signed it. Signed that one. He said, the other two.
That's a great story.
He said, fuck it. I'll sign these two too. And you're only supposed to get 5 signed. He signed 7 books for me.
And that was Saturday. That was Saturday?
Yeah, and he didn't have to
awesome. Yesterday.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, yesterday.
He didn't have to do that. But he did. So
the thing is, he's from the South, right?
Yeah, he's from Alabama.
And then also, I've heard stories that he tried for a long time to hit it big, and now that he's finally did, he's very grateful, very humble, and stories like that. That's amazing. See, that's what that's what comic books, the comic book community. That's the stuff that I love to hear.
And you know what? You have to be like you know what? You have to be like with your fans because they got you. They brought you to the dance. Yeah. And like his books, like they speak to people. Like, and I think it's also got something to do with like everybody loves the Universal monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's also got like this great style. Now it's a digital style, and some people complain. But look, you use the tools that are in front of you. There's modern technology now. You need to take advantage of it. And then Todd McFarlane does the same thing. So,
it's
not like it's something new. It's not like he's doing AI. He's still using a pad and using a little pen thing to draw it. He just makes it. He just renders it 3D after he's done. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, I totally agree. All right, so we're getting to the very end of our one-on-one. Damn, Matt, this has been amazing, dude. I'm so happy that you agreed to let me interview you. But one of my last questions is, everybody has some special comics in their collection. Doesn't have to be their most expensive, but there's comics in people's collection they covet more than all the others because sometimes it has like some personal meaning to it. All my guests, I'm asking to show me the comic books in their collection that they covet.
All right, let me grab one real quick. I forgot.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, not a problem, Matt.
It won't take me long. I know where it's at. I just have to I put my slab somewhere else.
Okay.
All right, I'm on the way back.
All right.
I cheated though, and I picked 4. So
I'm okay with that.
All right.
4 is a good even number. I love it.
All right.
What's the first one?
Not this exact book, but one of these, a book just like this, was the first one I ever went to a 7-Eleven with my own money and purchased as a kid.
Oh.
So I got it graded. It's a lower grade, but I wanted to get it graded just for my sake. I didn't give a shit about the grade.
Yeah.
It's Amazing Spider-Man 322.
Oh, I love it.
I didn't know who Todd McFarlane was when this came out. I just saw this and saw like Spider-Man with this guy over his head. These guys, he's got 2 of them. Shows you how powerful Spider-Man is. And it just looks so cool. He's beating the shit out of these guys. And the story's cool. Like, he's trying to find out they're trying to assassinate like the president. And he's like trying to figure out who it is. And you find out later. And Captain America shows up in the next issue, which I should have showed that one, but I didn't. And because this is the one I remember buying for the first time with my own money.
That's awesome, dude.
You find out the Red Skull's behind it. And the assassin was Sabretooth. And so you get like all these characters and like, it was basically my introduction to Spider-Man because I read like mainly Captain America and G.I. Joe stuff. And Avengers. And I knew Spider-Man and I thought he was cool. I watched the cartoons. So I said, I'm going to give that a chance as a kid. And then I loved it. And I read the book until it fell apart. So,
well, 8.0 is not a bad grade.
No.
You know what I mean? Especially if it's a comic that you purchase with your own money. That's all old comic book.
I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah. Nope.
So that was
Awesome.
my answer to that one. It's just it's just the Todd Father. See Todd, by Todd. That's what I say.
Yeah. What'd you say?
See Todd, by Todd.
See Tom Nighton. Okay. That's a
There's
good
going
one.
to be a kind of theme to this, and I think because
Right.
this kind of signifies how the community is. Do you know Austin LeMay, the artist? He's on YouTube.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Arizona. I was on Mad Spidey's Outback with him one night, and he's the one that did the Comics Curing Cancer art book cover
Oh wow. Okay.
last year with Spider-Man on it. And I was talking about how that story about my apartment being broken in, all my Spawn being took. He said, "I said, because I need to get a Spawn #1 again." He said, "You don't have Spawn #1?" He's a big, huge. He's might be a bigger Spawn fan than you, Paul.
Yeah.
And,
No, there's a lot out there.
He said, "I got like 20 copies of #1." He says, "Do you want one graded or you want one signed?" And he gave me this.
Oh.
I didn't have to pay shipping. Signed by
Wow.
one of the guys I idolized as a kid.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
amazing.
that shows you how the community really is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
And well, you're going to see kind of a theme on this one because Amazing Spider-Man 201,
Yep.
another iconic
Ooh.
cover.
Yeah.
This is like the 4th issue of Amazing Spider-Man he worked on, and I wish he'd worked on more. But
It's a newsy. Looks
we got it.
clean.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got some. It needs to be pressed, but it'll be all right. I'm gonna get it graded.
Yeah.
I don't care what grade it is.
Yeah.
Lynn gave me a good deal on it. I got it.
You get a lot of your comic books graded?
Yeah, I have about 20 graded comics right now.
Graded.
And
Cool.
I'm gonna have more. I want to be on Only Slabs one day.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I have at least 20. And the last one, I
Okay.
just got. Well, this is one of the first ones I ever got graded myself. It's sent into CDC. It's Chris Claremont story, John Buscema, the late great John Buscema covering art, and it's Hulk.
Oh yeah. Mr. Fix It.
Yep, Mr. Fix It. This is an iconic cover. You know what they were doing? This is kind of an homage to the movie Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And you get Rob Liefeld doing the pinup for Wolverine or the back cover.
Yeah.
Liefeld, it's
That's a classic book.
Wolverine, which is classic pose. And
Yeah.
actually, the feet, they always say his feet are tiny. His feet aren't really that tiny. So Liefeld didn't always draw small feet. So there you go.
Well, he's learned over the years. He's
Yeah.
heard the criticisms. You know what I mean? And the thing with him is, he takes the flack. He puts on his big boy pants.
He don't care. He's still got one of the highest selling comic books of all time. And I'm sure he cries all the way to the bank.
Right?
I mean, he was kind of temperamental, and like there's some things about him that are kind of, but you know what? He respects comic book. He respects comic book artists, so he's not all that bad. So
Yeah. No. I believe he does get a bad rap, but
and I grew
it's
up in the
whatever.
80s and 90s, so
Yeah,
he
no.
was
Everything was extreme, brother.
I've
you know?
heard they don't like
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So, man, we went for I told you it was going to be a 20 to 35-minute interview, and we're almost hitting 45 minutes, man.
oh,
Matt, thank you so much. So, but before we get out of here, I want to ask you: is there anything you want to talk about or promote?
oh, well, I do have the show. I don't know when this is going to come out, but Bad Cinema is on Mondays at noon Eastern time. If you can't watch the live, just watch the replay. It's I think you'll really like it. What we do is I play clips if I can. Like the movie tomorrow, Ninja 3: The Domination. I'm having trouble finding downloadable clips for it, but I'll try to play the trailer. We'll show some frames from still shots from the movie. We talk about it. We talk about what was good about it, what's bad about it. We rate it. And some of these movies they're not Oscar contenders, but it's just movies that are fun. Like maybe they're just stupid. They're funny. I don't know. Maybe they're just like I don't know. It's not Empire Strikes Back, but it's still good. Or it's not The Godfather. And then like also on Thursdays in noon Eastern, like actually the first episode will be this week on Thursday.
Okay.
We're doing good cinema, and I do it with my friend Madam Stephanie. She's a great person in the community, and we're going to be reviewing Apocalypse Now for the first episode of Good Cinema.
Oh.
And then, of course, Comic Conversations. I think my guest Tuesday will be Lady Fantastic, and I talked to people. You're going to be on there soon in the coming months, and
Most definitely.
and we're going to do that one on Wednesday though because
Okay.
of Amazing Friends on Tuesday. And other than that, just if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You know, we're going to be doing
For sure.
subscribe very soon. So,
Well, Matt, again, thank you so much. You know, I love, dude, this is my second interview and I'm starting to really enjoy it. You know, the thing is, I don't know how they turn out until the end. This is dope, man. This is worthy, brother. Woo! So, okay. So from me and Matt, everyone, take care.